From how we try to cook breakfast most efficiently to how we try and maximize our sleep at night, both Germany and the United States have developed unique ways and techniques to overcome these small challenges in our everyday lives that are different from one another. These differences in problem solving has led to some commonly found objects in nearly every German home that Americans have never seen.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie.
And I'm Aubrey.
And we are two Americans currently living in Germany and sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. There are countless videos on the internet, including a couple that we have done highlighting the differences between German and American homes. They talk about the different construction methods, the wall thicknesses, and the overwhelming number of people living in Germany astonished by Germany's magic windows. But besides the actual structure of the home, how different are the things actually inside the home? When we moved to Germany, we started to notice objects commonly found in German homes that we had never seen inside American homes. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today in our video, German and American stuff. Finding similarities can be a little tough.
Our experiences are definitely specific to where we are originally from, a state in the southern US called Oklahoma, and where we live now in the southwestern German state of Rhineland-Pfalz. Therefore, let us know your experiences with these things in the comments below and where you are from.
If you follow us on Instagram, then you might have seen us recently post about one of, if not the most German thing we feel like we have done since moving to Germany, buying a giant crate of 1-liter drinks in glass bottles from the supermarket. Drinks this large and in these quantities are sold in the US individually or shrink wrapped in plastic, kind of like you will also find in Germany if they are not sold in these crates.
In one of our most recent videos, we discussed how it is super common to see Germans pushing out grocery carts full of these crates of carbonated water, which is something we had never seen in the US. In a German home, they will store these crates, grab a bottle when they need it. After every single one of the bottles is used and the crate is filled with empty bottles, they are returned to the grocery store and the crates and bottles are reused. Partially
because of the crates full of these bottles, but also because of the trash system in Germany. Another thing found in German homes that is not found in American homes are large quantities of jars and bottles building up in some random closet or corner. In the US, when we finish drinks in bottles, they will either just go straight into the trash or recycling bin that is normally picked up once a week, and then they are out of your hair.
We've talked way too many times in our videos about the 33-page guidebook we have here in Germany explaining in detail how we dispose of our trash. Part of that is either returning glass and plastic bottles back to the grocery store we bought them from to get the deposit back, or some glass is not returnable and has to be gathered up personally and taken to a collection center in your town. This means it is very common to end up with part of your home devoted to piling up all those bottles that you really should take out. But if you only have a few, it isn't worth the effort. But then when you wait too long, it suddenly becomes a massive job to carry all of those heavy bottles. So then you really don't want to do it, and you only finally do it once you no longer have access to a particular room or closet in your home. Just from personal experience.
So you may be asking yourselves, with German engineering so world famous, is there really not a solution for if you don't want to lug those crazy heavy crates of glass bottles? Or if you don't want to buy plastic bottles that just ends up filling landfills, or you have to lug back to the supermarkets? Or what if you don't even want to drink those high calorie and sugary drinks anymore but can't give up the flavor? Well, one thing that we want to start on our channel is supporting local and domestic German businesses coming up with unique solutions for these types of problems. And because of that, we reached out ourselves to the sponsor of today's video, a German brand that is working to solve those questions and problems we just laid out called AirUp.
AirUp is an awesome brand based in Munich, solving the world's nutrition and environmental issues with one product. AirUp developed an innovative water bottle that uses your body's own retronasal olfaction. That's just a fancy way of saying smell through your mouth, in which you place a scented pod around the mouthpiece of their bottle, and when you suck up the water, the scent is also sucked into your mouth, giving the water the flavor of something you are not actually drinking. Every day, you already experience this when you eat because 80% of flavor comes from smell alone.
Fill up the bottle with still or sparkling water, put the straw and mouthpiece on, place a pod filled with only natural aromas on the mouthpiece, activate by pulling up, suck, and enjoy a wide range of flavors.
For Christmas, we wanted unique gifts that we could get in Germany for our family back home. We found these and it was such a hit with our family that we reached out ourselves to AirUp. Check the link in our description for AirUp's website so you can go ahead and check these out yourselves.
In another one of our recent videos, we mentioned one thing that is common in German homes that is unheard of in American homes and is threatening to divide our family as I try to Germanize while Aubrey continues to hold out, and that is having 2 separate duvets for each person on a bed rather than one large one for us both to share. However, there is one thing that we both agree on that we can never accept into our bedroom that is common in German homes, and that is the atrocious German pillows. And that is exactly the title of one blog post that shares the sentiment shared by all foreigners in Germany and their relationship with the typical German pillow.
So let us explain the difference. A typical American pillow is going to be roughly 51 centimeters by 66 centimeters and will have the shape more or less of a rectangle. They will be soft, yet firm enough to support your head. Different people have pretty particular preferences when it comes to size and firmness, but this is probably the most common description. A typical German pillow is an enormous 80 centimeters by 80 centimeter square that has the same support as an empty pillowcase. When we come in contact with these pillows, we spend most of the night trying to figure out how we lay on them, trying to figure out what the point of one even is without any form of support, and then in the morning, after a deplorable night of not sleeping, we try and figure out how the heck you even make a bed with those giant pillows that can't hold themselves up.
Now, we are being a little harsh, and we have read online that many Germans fold them in half to form an 80 centimeter by 40 centimeter rectangle pillow that does offer a little more support, but we still can't make them work even with this technique. Another reason why these pillows are so confusing for Americans is because large square pillows do exist in the US, but they are typically only 66 centimeters by 66 centimeters, are called Euro sham pillows, and are used only decoratively and not actually to sleep on. But honestly, it really doesn't matter to us what pillow choice Germans or Americans have. As long as you can sleep and are fine, that's great. We just now travel with our own pillows that we know we enjoy. But we want to know from you, what is your pillow preference? And if you sleep with German pillows, how do you use it to get a good night's sleep? And how do you make your bed with one? Do you stand them up and let them slouch over? Do you lay them down? What do you do with these?
Germans and Americans both have very different eating habits when it comes to breakfast foods, and because of that, sometimes there are tools in American kitchens or German kitchens that you won't find in the others. In the case of a German kitchen, one tool you won't find in American kitchens is known very simply as an Eierschalen Sollbruchstellen Neverschrugesacker.
Eierschalensollbruchstellenverursacher.
Ugh, well, that word is actually a mouthful and was most likely just created as a marketing stunt for this product. Most Germans would know this product simply as an Eierkopfer or an Eieropfner.
How often do you find yourself cooking a nice boiled egg but can't actually eat it? You try cracking it, rolling it, smashing it to get that delicious soft inside, but every time it just ends up being a crumble mess of shell and egg. What a mess. Well, not anymore, thanks to the German engineering and the Eierschalen Sollbruchstellenverursacher. This little German invention is made to make getting the shell out of the way when eating a boiled egg easier. You simply set it on top of the egg in an egg cup, raise the weighted ball, and let it drop. You can do it a couple of times, but once you have, you are left with a perfect line cracked around the top of the egg. We have seen online that sometimes you are able to just pull the top shell right off with the egg opener, but most of the times we just have to take a knife and it slides right through the crack and that pops the top off. Then you are able to easily eat the egg right out of the shell. This invention is quite uniquely German, considering that in the US, Americans don't really have a need for something like this, at least based on the data from a YouGov study in which they found that given the choice of egg type, Americans are most likely to prefer scrambled eggs and least likely to prefer boiled eggs. But is this data skewed because Americans didn't come up with a useful tool like this, and it was so hard to eat boiled eggs they just gave up, whereas Germans persevered and developed this tool? We'll let you decide.
It is important to note a couple of things about the data from the YouGov study that we just showed you. One, you may have noticed that the numbers didn't add up to 100%, which I can only imagine is a product of the fact that some Americans are like Donnie and do not like eggs at all, and therefore the only preference they have of which type of egg to eat for breakfast is no egg. And two, soft-boiled is not even listed as an option. Well, that is probably partially due to the fact that Americans don't really know what that is, and if they do, they don't eat them, which may be something unbelievable to Germans.
According to DW.com, no German breakfast spread is complete without a soft-boiled egg, and in Germany, the soft-boiled egg is a requirement at every big Sunday breakfast. Typically, it is not considered a main dish and not eaten with an omnipresent bread roll, but stands alone in a dish of its own, like a work of art adorned only with a dash of salt. Usually the egg yolk, the Eigelb, is left runny. Because of this, along with the Eieröffner, Germans also will have specific egg cups and egg spoons on the table to eat their eggs. Yet, when you look online, you will find many websites shocked about the fact that Americans do not have egg cups or egg spoons in their homes at all, because soft-boiled eggs seem to be virtually unheard of in the US. Is this the reason soft-boiled wasn't even listed as an egg preference on YouGov's survey? Maybe, but let us know in the comments if you are an American, have you ever eaten a soft-boiled egg? And for everybody, what is the best way to eat eggs?
For this next thing that Germans have in their homes that American homes do not have, we must first mention one thing that American homes are more likely to have than German homes, and that is a dryer. According to Statista.com, only 42.6% of German homes owned a dryer in 2019, whereas in 2009, according to EnergyStar.gov, 80% of American homes already had a dryer. When someone in the US says they are doing laundry, this essentially means they are throwing their clothes in a washing machine and then throwing them immediately into a dryer that is directly next to or on top of the washer. Although 42.6% of German homes have a dryer, it is important to note that the dryer they own may not even be used very often or may only be used in the winter months.
So you may be asking, if Germans don't have a dryer, or they have one but they don't use it, they must hang their clothes to dry on a line, I guess? And in many cases, you would be right. It is super common in the backyards of German homes to find a clothesline where they will hang their clothes. Or they will have a folding clothes drying rack that they will drape their clothes over and either leave inside next to their radiator, leave out in a room in the sun, or set outside for their clothes to dry. These drying racks are the next thing you will most likely find in German homes that we had never seen until we left the US and started traveling. There are many reasons for German laundry drying tendencies, and not just one reason. Some Germans have told us that they feel guilty using a dryer and using the electricity when the sun does it for free and more eco-friendly. Some just like the way the clothes feel better after drying on a line. Some say they like saving the cost on their electricity bill, and some say a dryer is too harsh on fabric. Even those that do have a dryer have a tendency to still feel this way, and therefore reserve them primarily just in the winter when it is so cold that they do not want to hang their wet clothes outside. So let us know in the comments. Do you use a dryer? Or if you have one, how often do you actually use it? And why or why not?
One of the reasons we find these items so interesting is because they highlight cultural differences between our two countries and how we find solutions to many of the same problems we experience. It is easy to see differences like these and think that another culture is weird because they do things a different way, like the German massive flat pillows. But we hope that you find it interesting to see how we approach problems from different perspectives and find unique solutions that we could all learn from.
To help us keep learning, leave in the comments other things that you think may be unique to your country or culture, no matter where you are from. Also, I've really enjoyed your responses on the random questions to see who made it this far into the video. So this week, let us know what you are most looking forward to this spring. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in our next video.
Cheers!
Or do you lay them down, and what do you do?
What do you do with these?
What do you do with these? Oh yeah. We're too passionate about these pillows.
They're crazy pillows.
You simply set it on top of it. You simply set it on top of the egg in an A cup. A cup?
A cup.
You simply set it on top of the egg in an A cup.
It's not an A cup. It's not a bra.
An A cup. Set it in an egg. No. That would be funny, having a bra setting it. You simply set it on top of the egg in an egg. Gosh,
it's just the word egg.
You simply set it on top You set it on top of the egg in an egg cup. That's hard. In an
egg cup.
Pull the top shell right off the egg.
With the egg open. And most of the time, we just have to take a knife. One thing that American homes are more likely to have than German homes. What?
Yeah.
I'm confused. According to Statista.
According to Statista. But most of the time, we just have to take a knife. And what has happened? Or they have one, but they don't use it. They must hang their clothes. You confused me.
Sorry.
I was like, why is she staring at me?
I know. I was trying to figure out for continuity where to put my face.
Keep it right here.